Good morning. I'm Brent Adams here with your Rural Strong Morning Ag Report for this Tuesday, January 30th. Leading off the headlines this morning, a stalled trade agenda and unhappiness with the leadership of Biden U.S. Trade Chief Katherine Tai has pushed more than half a dozen senior trade officials out the door, according to a Politico report. Current and former administration officials tell Politico the exits include the White House's point person on global economics and 2 trade deputies on Biden's worker-centered trade policies. Simmering discontent over USTR Katherine Tai's management and pulling out of Indo-Pacific Economic Framework or IPEF talks in November are among the causes cited. Tai told the Senate Finance Committee last year,
tariff liberalization, tariff reductions are not a part of this negotiation. Nevertheless, what we are doing is bringing together critical partners in the region to improve the interoperability and compatibility between our economies.
House lawmakers also complained U.S. producers were losing ground to China and the EU making tariff-cutting deals. Ways and Means Republican Adrian Smith.
I'm concerned that it seems that President Biden has not given you the mandate to address market access with any of our trading partners.
Senate Finance Chair and Democrat Ron Wyden told Politico that the recent wave of exits certainly raises questions about the trade agenda, one Tai has defended, citing domestic politics.
Our traditional trade models and traditional FTAs have led us to a place where we are facing a considerable backlash that we are listening to from our own people about concerns regarding the offshoring and outsourcing of American jobs and opportunities through these types of arrangements.
A Biden worker-centered trade agenda versus Trump protectionism and steep tariffs could be a driver for decisive Midwest manufacturing and farm votes in an election rematch this year. Well, the Clean Fuels Alliance welcomed the Environmental Protection Agency's release of public data for the Renewable Fuel Standard. That data shows U.S. production of biomass-based diesel, including biodiesel, renewable diesel, sustainable aviation fuel, and heating oil, reached 4 billion gallons in 2023. Both domestic production and use of advanced biomass-based diesel grew by 1 billion gallons in 2023 compared to the prior year. Kurt Kovarik, Vice President of Federal Affairs for the Clean Fuels Alliance, said the clean fuels industry achieved what EPA said couldn't be done by contributing to the growth of advanced biodiesel, renewable diesel, sustainable aviation fuel, and heating oil from sustainably sourced feedstocks. He went on to add, our industry, including producers, oilseed processors, fuel distributors, and marketers, has made significant investments to make clean fuels available to more consumers and rapidly decarbonize heavy-duty transportation fuels, including for aviation and marine markets. He also says that EPA's data demonstrates the projected sustainable growth is being achieved. Well, the recent Dairy Strong conference in Green Bay, Wisconsin, covered several topics important to the U.S. dairy industry. Tim Trotter, CEO of the Dairy Business Association, says the industry is watching as the federal milk marketing order hearings get closer to wrapping up.
I mean, obviously, this is still on farmers' minds. What is the net going to be for farms? And obviously, they're just winding up the hearings, and it'll probably be several months before we get anything back out of AMS with what the secretary is thinking. But, I think one of the takeaways I have, there's not a united voice. There's not consensus as we thought there might be. But again, it's a very diverse industry. There's so many geographical challenges a lot of different regions have, so they have their reasons, their business case for why they like or dislike something.
Trotter is also CEO of the Edge Dairy Cooperative and says the co-op is proposing more flexibility in the federal milk marketing orders.
We need to rethink this and how we look at federal orders, and we're really advocating for flexibility for all the orders so that they can be viable for the people they serve. So Federal Order 30, Upper Midwest, little that's being talked about in the federal order hearings right now is going to have any major good impact on us. We were hoping for more risk management tools so farmers could manage their risk, but really for us to think out of the box, we need to have more authority at the federal order level, each order level, to have more independence and be able to innovate and think of ways that there could be a value add.
Again, that was Tim Trotter of the Dairy Business Association and Edge Dairy Cooperative. A special thank you to Brian Winnikins of WRDN Radio in Durand, Wisconsin for that audio. Well, the USDA recently announced a new subcommittee within its National Agricultural Research, Extension, Education, and Economics Advisory Board, one focused on pollinator health and conservation. Here with more is USDA Radio's Rod Bain.
A new addition to a National Advisory Board, providing input on decision-making with USDA's research, extension, education, and economics realm.
The pollinator subcommittee is going to help us as we work to identify the collective set of stressors that impact pollinators, including but not limited to pests and pathogens, pollinator habitat, and climate change, to name a few. And so this subcommittee is going to play a very important role to help us identify the research priorities to support pollinator health and help us focus on the best available science to inform our pollinator programmatic and policy needs.
Undersecretary Shavonda Jacobs-Young says the 9-member pollinator subcommittee, consisting of private, public, and academic experts, will meet on a regular schedule virtually to discuss research priorities and best science practices associated with pollinator health and conservation. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
And finally, this morning, a younger generation of farm producers is taking initiative with more direct marketing of their products as both a sales vehicle and a method to learn what their customers demand. Here one final time is Rod Bain.
More farmers are turning to direct marketing of their goods and commodities as both a way to engage with consumers and meet changing demands from such. And as Chad Hart of Iowa State University Extension points out, driving that outreach are younger farmers and ranchers, several of whom are trying to create their own niche within a family farm operation.
It's always been a game where the farmer, you wear many hats. But it used to be one of those hats was not, I have to worry about connecting with the consumer. Now it definitely is.
It's also not just about growing demand domestically.
Because when you're looking at our production, the idea is that we produce more than enough to meet our own needs, plus we depend upon selling to the rest of the world. So we're not only trying to adjust to how our consumers here within the U.S. are adjusting, but how they're adjusting internationally as well.
Examples of direct marketing range from roadside farm stands to farm-to-school or government product sales. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
Well, you can keep up with the latest from the world of agriculture by subscribing to the Tractors and Troubadours podcast from Rural Strong Media. Each week, we bring you agriculture industry newsmakers, hot-button industry issues, educational features, and the best in traditional country music. The Tractors and Troubadours podcast can be found at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. We also invite you to join us daily on Rural Strong Radio, our 24/7 streaming radio station, found at ruralstrongmedia.com or on the Live 365 streaming radio app for your mobile device. Each day, we bring you our award-winning agriculture programming, as well as the best in traditional country music, mixed in with a little bluegrass, western swing, southern rock, and inspirational music. Again, the place to find Rural Strong Radio is ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app. We're portable, so take us with you everywhere you go while you're working on the farm or ranch. Let's get through the workday together. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with another Rural Strong Morning Ag Report here on Steve Shetler Media. Make it a great day, everybody.